Moving on, Gauteng Premier David Makhura has survived a motion of no confidence brought against him by the Democratic Alliance. The final vote tally showed that 37 had voted against and 27 had voted for the motion. The motion was brought by the Democratic Alliance, who claimed that the Premier knew that psychiatric patients would be moved from Life Esidimeni to unlicensed NGOs around the province. Makhura has stuck to his guns, saying that the decision to move the patients was not made in consultation with the council. Earlier this month, Health Ombudsman Makhura reported that most of the patients had died of starvation and other causes not related to their condition.
The opinion failed to exercise his duties and responsibilities as a leader. He did not listen to the opposition and others who brought this matter to his attention and warned him about the possible dire consequences of moving these mentally ill patients could be. He trusted the information he received from his former MEC without verifying such. Without considering all the evidence before him, he made the wrong decision. When what he was warned about became a reality, he relies upon a defense of denial. The Premier claimed that he was lied to and thus misled. If he was so misled, it is because he ignored the information received from the opposition and other bodies and individuals. He cannot claim his innocence. It could be argued in his defense that he delegated authority to his cabinet. However, as the captain of his government, responsibility and accountability falls squarely upon his shoulders.
The Gauteng provincial government must develop a report on proposal for compensation and present this report to the legislature within 1 month. The Premier is no longer fit, and I repeat, the Premier is no longer fit to continue his duties, having been complicit in the death of 100 psychiatric patients, and invoke Section Clause 130, subsection 3, to remove the Premier in accordance with the Constitution.
And with peacetime heroes who can only be described as incalcitrant young members. I'm saying that, Honourable Speaker, because the family was clear and they said to all of us, please stop politicizing the Life Esidimeni matter, because it's a very sad matter to us as families. Rather, we need to help them to heal. The family members, Honourable Speaker, of the diseased mental health patients who were transferred from Life Esidimeni to NGOs pleaded with us that their plight should not be used as a political football for political point scoring by political parties and by politicians. But alas, Honourable Speaker, here we are debating the matter.
Joining us to discuss this further is ANN7 reporter Natasha Perry. She joins us live from Johannesburg. Good afternoon to you, Natasha. The motion of no confidence against David Makhura, unsuccessful. Just talk us through the happenings so far.
Indeed, Abigail, very good afternoon to you and to the viewers at home. Indeed, the motion of no confidence against the Premier, David Makhura, has fallen out. And just to take you quickly through the results, we had members, MPLs, who were not present. 4 of them were absent. And just the results, those who were for the motion, 29 votes were counted. Those who were against, 37 votes were counted. And as you know, 48 votes are needed for the motion to pass. But that was not what we saw. But just briefly taking you through what the opposition parties, specifically the Democratic Alliance and the EFF members, saying that Premier Makhura is not fit to actually hold his position. He should have seen this coming. He should have heeded to their calls last year when they raised, those points, saying that there is indeed a dire problem at Life Esidimeni. But members of the ANC coming out saying that, their claims, the opposition claims, are not valid enough. Some members also alluding to the fact that, for Qedani, the former, apologies for that, former MEC of Health, Daddy Mahlangu, stepping down is a sign of her taking accountability. Others like Gwen Ramagopa saying that the Premier had apologized last week through the SOPA as well. But we also saw different political parties just coming out and, just raising their points of order there. The ANC saying that they should heed to the calls of the family to not use this occasion as political grandstanding. The same point was actually raised last week at the State of the Province address. But Abigail, I'm actually joined right now by Babongozi Dlamini, who's an MPL from the IFP. And we'll just also get his reaction as the IFP on what he thinks about what happened in the House today. Baba, thank you so much for joining us on NN7. We've heard the DA, we've heard the EFF saying that Premier Makhura must step down from his position. What is the IFP's position on this?
I mean, the IFP's stance is very consistent. Is that one, we don't doubt the Premier's consistency in implementing the recommendations of the ombudsman. Therefore, we must give him a chance to do that. Secondly, as the IFP, we are driven by the empathy we have for the families, because no amount of spin doctoring and resignations, no amount of wearing black badges, no amount of putting more emotions will really erase the pain that the families that are affected are feeling. Therefore, as the IFP was saying, yes, the buck stops with the Premier, the response stops there, but we are pleased as the IFP on the steps that he has taken to take correction measures. Therefore, even the Constitution tells us on what basis you can remove the Premier, not just on frivolous the issues that they've done today. That is why as the IFP, one, because people have died and Premier Makhura must be held responsible, we abstained. Secondly, we could not support the motion to remove him because we don't think there's grounds for that, because we are convinced as the IFP that they are making corrective measures.
And talking about recommendations, we've heard in the House that on the 18th of February, the Premier, the Minister of Health and MEC met with the families and some healing ceremony has started. Do you think that that is a step in the right direction?
Oh yes, it is, because as we said in the House, that we should really respect the wishes of the families, that we should not use this tragic situation as a political football. Therefore, the healing that is why I'm saying to you, no amount of politicking will heal those wounds and bring back those lives. But we must really make sure that one, while we're calling for accountability and people taking responsibility, but at the same time we must be really sensitive to the families. I mean, they've pleaded with us as politicians to say, please don't delay our healing, don't make this a political issue. Therefore, as the IFP, that is why we are saying, let's give a chance to the Premier. He has demonstrated, and the National Minister, they've now appointed a panel of 60 experts who are going to advise the Minister, the Department on the health, mental health care. Therefore, we don't think as a IFP, yes, also accountability does not stop at resigning. There are processes there. Those who've got evidence that the Premier knew, I've said it in the House, that they must come forward so that maybe we start an inquiry on that and therefore have a substantive motion to say this is the Premier we are proving here. But in the absence of that, no adverse finding for the Premier, but all the steps that he has been asked to do, he's doing those things. Yes, we are also saying that he is ultimately responsible and he has taken responsibility. Therefore, we don't think that we should politic and call for his head for now.
And then just lastly, members of the Democratic Alliance under the leadership of Ubab Musi Maimane marched to the Premier's office today while you guys were inside the House. And we've time and time again heard the family, as indicated with the SOPA and today, that this isn't a time for political football. What is your message to the other opposition parties on this plea from the families?
This is an unfortunate tragedy that has happened. People's life has been lost. There was failed leadership, as we have said as the IFP, because once it's failed leadership, it tramples on people's rights and it diminishes their dignity. But also as leaders, we must also be compassionate and not play football over dead bodies, because this is tragic. That is why in the House I said that there is no amount of politicking, no amount of wearing black badges and marches and raising motions that will heal the pain that the families are hearing. They have made a passionate plea to us as politicians to say, please don't delay our mourning. But that does not remove the fact that we must make accountable, that we must do it in a responsible manner and not just politic over this. For me, it's really a tragic that we cannot politic over.
Thank you so much for your time, Babu.